Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah. This is going to be short and sweet, inshallah ta'ala, because we got some, everybody, not everybody, but we have some other things to take care of. So, forgive me if I'm speaking a little fast, like I'm rushing through it. We're going to cover a few questions from part 2 of the Aqidah lessons. And because I really want to discuss Qiyas, okay? I want to discuss Qiyas and some of these different things about the Sunnah and certain things from these lessons, how we break down certain things. So I want to say this too, and it's not specifically, I'm not addressing the brother in the comments. I'm addressing the new shahadas once again on how to deal with these issues. Okay? But I'm going to mention what the brother said in the comments. What the brother said in the comments about you don't have to adopt Middle Eastern culture to be Muslim. Okay? Now, I'm going to pause at that one sentence, and I need for people who really care, go and Google, even in English, Islamic culture. See, this is a concept people having a difficulty grasping because they've never studied. They may have, I'm not going to say, they haven't studied on a level, but they've studied and listened to what other people tell them. There's a thing called Islamic culture. When you go and start to learn the language and you deal with books like Arabiya, Bania, Dake, and there's actual classes and courses on learning Islamic culture. And I'm mentioning that because I need for the new shahadas to understand, like I said, when we're discussing legislation, this isn't Middle Eastern clothing. These are designed for Islamic culture. Okay? So when you discuss clothing, let's just discuss what's legislated. And that's why I even said, even in the video, so like he even ended by saying, you don't have to wear Middle Eastern clothing to be Muslim. But he made a statement, Islam comes and purify culture. So the purity in the culture, when you learn what Islamic culture is, you will adopt that. There's a thing called Islamic culture. So take out whatever type of clothes or whatever you think that it is, right? And let's just discuss what's legislated. Because like I said in the video, putting this on don't make you Muslim. I said that with clarity. And I said just because you have this on, it doesn't make you better than people who may not have it on. And understand, if you're going to wear it, don't just put it on because you feel like it makes you look like a Muslim. Make sure it's all about legislation. Know why you're putting it on. See, like I said, these people who come at us, they don't really understand legislation and Sharia because they don't deal with hadiths. And one thing that you will notice, it's only black people making these comments towards other black people because other black people who lacked real Islamic knowledge, they had to tear down real Islamic knowledge and call it Arab stuff. So that you will listen to them. They put these narratives out there. So, and I'm gonna speak on. Let's look at something. We're gonna be brief. Let's look at legislation and see, like, real talk. I'm not gonna go into it all for YouTube, but every once in a while, when you have these people who running around, oh, that's Arab stuff, this, that, and the third, and we got our own culture. Right now, you have a lot of black people that think spaghetti is soul food. Spaghetti is ours. That's our culture. Spaghetti is Italian. Macaroni and cheese, we think that's soul food. Macaroni and cheese is not ours. Just because we make those different cheeses and a spin on it, that's not soul food. That's not black culture because you eat macaroni and cheese. Eating boiled rice with butter. Rice is, we don't have a strong, that don't make it soul food or our culture. These things was imported from different cultures. So if a person sitting around eating spaghetti, do that mean they trying to act Italian? But if we eat some lamb and rice, are we trying to be Arabs? If we eat tacos, do that mean we trying to be Mexican? You know what I'm saying? If we wear Italian designer clothes, do that mean we trying to be Italian? See, anything that we do that we steal from other people and try to put a claim on it like it's ours, there's no problem with it. But when a Muslim is doing legislated things in the deen of Islam and learning Arabic and learning the deen the way that the Rasul gave it, they got a problem with it and they have to tear it down and call it Arab stuff. My whole thing is, at the end of the day, if we want to put this on, do we got to get y'all permission? Can't we wear it if we want to? Like, it don't go against the deen of Islam. So why is it even y'all business? Because y'all under this notion like y'all have a form of black Islam that's better than regular real Islam, so y'all had to tear it down and call it Arab stuff, not knowing when you understand the invalidators of the Shahada and the nullifiers of your Shahada, making a mockery and ridiculing a deen. The deen that is one of the nullifiers of Islam, and referring to things that actually come to the deen as Arab stuff, Arab culture. And just so that you can downplay what people doing that really comes from Islam, you're making a mockery and ridiculing the deen and what it comes with. So we're going to take away what the clothes look like and talk about legislation. Because like I even said, even with these, when you understand legislation, if you don't have one of these on, you will still dress different. Especially when it comes to the prayer, you need to be mindful. Let's look at, and like I said, when I have some of the conversations with some of these people, I'll be like, hey, what's the invalidators of Salah? First, what's the conditions of Salah? And a brother asked me to make a video on, one brother asked me to make a video on wudu and Salah. So this is a little pre-course to the Shahada thing. When I sit down and ask them, what's the conditions of Salah? They don't even be able to tell me. But they want to talk about what's Arab stuff and what's not. Because they want to hold claim to Islam as something black. Some of them done even went so far as to make Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam black. Some of them done even drew pictures of him and companions. Oh, they was really black people. Because they got to have some type of stronghold that there's a black Islam. Not knowing, they ridiculing and making a mockery of the deen of Islam. But they don't know it because they don't study enough to get the lessons to know what's what. They don't want to learn the Arabic language on that level, and then when they do get to that level, they got to tear it down and call it Arab stuff. Oh, that's Middle Eastern stuff. So when you ask them, what's the conditions of Salah? If you run around in a thobe and a person come tell you, hey man, you don't need to put that on to be Muslim, mind your business. Is it okay if I wear it because I want to? If I'm walking around, if I'm walking around in some Italian sandals, do that mean I'm trying to be I mean, you ain't got to wear no Italian sandals. You need to have shoes of a black person. You need Jordans on. They don't do that though. But they always tear down real Islam. So when you ask them, what's the conditions of the Salah? They don't know them. That's why you have to do is ask them, hey, what's the conditions of Salah? If they can't tell you to, then Like the Quran say, when a person come to you with ignorance, you respond to them back with peace. Hey, man, you know you don't need to be wearing that, man. You imitating the Arabs. You don't need that. You don't need to learn Arabic. You don't need none of that. You be like, hey, what's the conditions of Salah? They can't tell you. You be like, all right, salam alaikum. I appreciate that, what you just told me. And then you get on up out of there. Get out of here with that. It's my prerogative. I can wear it if I want to, can I? But keep in mind, it's about legislation, even if you're not wearing this. What's the invalidators of Salah? They can't tell you. Now I'm finna break down one with Dalil. Why I say, even if you're going to pray and you're going to dress that way, put one of these on. One of the conditions of Salah is the covering of one's aura, right? Any area of the body that must be covered, okay, with clothing that does not reveal one's shape. This male and female. This is one of the conditions. With clothing that does not reveal one's shape, skin, or complexion. So again, these clothes was not designed for Arab people. These thobes was designed in accordance with legislation to keep your salat valid. This is what they need to understand, because they don't understand legislation. They don't understand the Sharia. Don't let them do it to you. Now, hold on. The people of knowledge concur that if one is able to wear clothes but prays naked instead, then his prayer is invalid. The aura for a man, or the area of his body that must be covered, is the area between his belly button, right up here, right? His belly button and his knees. And the same goes for a female slave, but the aura of a free woman is her entire body except for her face and her hands, and even that must be covered when she is in the presence of strange men. Alright? So one, this doesn't reveal my shape. This is a condition of the Salah. Now, like I say to them, and I want y'all to understand this, a brother can be in a masjid, and like how women talk about men in gray sweats. What if you in there in some sweats, some basketball shorts, or some shorts that don't even come to your knees as a man? That's nudity. What if you sitting around with a shirt when you talk beer like this and it raise up and right here, not even above your belly button, but right here to your shorts is showing? That's nudity. These invalidate your salats. You got on some gray sweats, you got on some basketball shorts and this and that. What if your private part is showing? Just like a female can be clothed and naked and wear something tight, form-fitting to enhance her breasts, and you could look at that and say that's bogus. But what if you got on some shorts or some sweats or some tight jeans that enhance your private parts, and you making salat in it? Because that's what's going on with a lot of our clothes. What about when you bend over and you got on some sweats or some tight pants, some basketball shorts, and you bend over and your back, look at this. This part of your back, all those. So this right here, from your navel to your knees, to below your knee where your knee is covered, that's front and back. So when you bending over and you got on a little shirt and the back of your skin showing, even if your boxers and stuff don't show, that's nudity. These things invalidate. This is a condition of your salat. Tight pants where you can see the form of where you can see the shape of your body. You can see how your butt formed up. And see, one of the things with women that's praying behind you, for the people who know the ad cams of salat, part of their salat is when you bent over in prostration prostration and you coming up, they have to pause for a second so that, because they can come up a little bit before you, and while you in prostration bent over, if you don't have the right type of clothes on, they may be able to see your private part and your butt crack and what type of pants you have on. These things violate your salah. Okay, so keep in mind, this is about legislation. This is part of Islamic culture, not no Arab, not no Middle Eastern culture. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is, even when married Muslims is non-Muslims, this they love to say, all Arabs dress like that. Because see, over there they have laws. If you walking around in what they consider to be nudity in their cities, they can take you to jail. They can lock you up. That's why some of these famous people, when they go over there, you will see them women, famous women and stuff, in hijabs, and you will see the famous men in throws and stuff, because they can get tickets and go to jail over there for that. So even for the non-Muslims, they dressing in accordance with the Sharia so that they don't go to jail. This is Islamic culture. This is Islamic culture, not Arab culture. And like I said, you got black people who think spaghetti is soul food. No, that's Italian, but because we eat spaghetti, are we trying to adopt Italian culture? No, because we done claimed it as our own. Spaghetti is soul food. Just like we do to some deviant individuals who introduce these concepts, and they only say this type of stuff to black people. Why? Because they feel like we're violating the black version of Islam that they came up with. What about the Sharia? And like I said, I see some of these individuals, but when you in a prayer line with them and they butt crack showing, and other people in front of them, all they back butt crack showing because they shirt raising up, they don't say nothing. Shorts that don't even come below their knees, pants so tight with rips all in them, with their thighs and their knees showing. This is nudity. But they don't say nothing. Why? Because they got on black culture clothing. Because they don't understand what's legislated. We gonna touch. So then, that's, like I said, that's one of the conditions of your salat. And I point out to the part where it's referring to the men, so that people won't try to say this just referred to the women. And there's even more to it, right? But I'm just going to give y'all a little bit. So then your actions that nullifies one prayer. 5, part of one's aura being exposed. If your private part can be seen through your sweats, your basketball shorts, your church pants, your suit pants, your butt crack. Even if you bent over, all this part of your skin, you got your shirt on. Now, one thing that's not added into this, because you have to read hadiths, you can't pray without your shoulders being covered up either, unless you on Hajj or Umrah, where they can wear the stuff where they have one shoulder covering the other one out. But in your salat, so like people who praying in wife beaters, people coming to the masjid in a wife beater, shoulders out, which violates the hadith, basketball shorts or some sweatpants, sometimes shorts that don't even come past their their knees. But these people who want to talk about what you should put on and don't put on, they ain't got nothing to say about it. Oh, that's between them and Allah. Okay, well, this between us and Allah too then. But again, for those who can comprehend and understand, this is Islamic culture, not Middle Eastern culture. And like I said, when you really know what a real dashiki look like, a real dashiki look just like this, but some of them just sleeveless. They just as long as those. Not these new modern day Americanized dashikis. When you look at what clothing and stuff came about as they traded, as they started to become Muslims, they started to dress to distinguish themselves from the kuffar. This is Islamic culture. learning the Arabic, speaking hadiths. If you want to learn the Arabic language, alhamdulillah. Why would another Muslim want to knock you for that? Unless they got some type of stronghold over you, and then as long as you don't know nothing, they could tell you what stuff mean. What the heck is adopted Middle Eastern culture? Like I said, if I sit down and eat some lasagna, am I adopting Italian culture? If I eat some pizza, do that mean I'm trying to adopt Italian culture? If I'm sitting around eating macaroni and cheese and some of these other things that come from the French and all that, am I trying to be French? If I eat some tacos, a taco salad, some nachos, do that mean I'm trying to adopt Mexican or Latin culture? Nah. You see what I'm saying? But it's always black people that got something to say to other black people because they feel like you're violating this black version of Islam that was put in play by people who weren't even Muslim. Nation of Islam weren't Muslims, man. I don't care what they call themselves. Because even when they try to play on words, well, a Muslim is the one who submit to the will of Allah. When we put down the 7 conditions and the 8 conditions of the Shahada up under submission, y'all haven't done that. So you can play on words all you want to. Well, we submit to the will of Allah. No, you don't. Even if you want to, Noble Drew Ali want to call it Muslims instead of Muslims. Ain't got nothing to do with Islam. So for y'all brothers, and like I said, I'm talking to y'all, understand this is Islamic culture, not Arab culture. So now that you understand what's legislated, if you don't have on one of these, make sure that the clothes that you wear is big and baggy. Because even like I said, it was a brother who, got to a point where he didn't want to wear a stove no more because he's sitting around listening to some people telling him the same thing. So he want to do the Eid prayer and lead the Eid prayer. So he ordered himself some dashikis. Well, he feel like it's a dashiki, but they only come to his waist. And then he got on some tight jeans, right? He got on some little jeans. But while he talking, and he talking with his hands, his shirt would raise up, and below what's between his belly button, his stuff showing during it while he giving an Eid khutbah. When he go to make Salah, to lead the Salah, when he go on ruku, all his back, drawers and stuff showing. This stuff violates your Salah, man. But because they don't understand the conditions of Salah, and they don't understand the invalidators of Salah, they be in violation all the time. But they always got something to say. But the person right next to you with their butt crack out, you're silent. Don't let them pull you off what you got going on. If they got a problem with it, let them have a problem with it. This ain't got nothing to do with you. I ain't telling you what to put on. If you feel like this Arab culture, alhamdulillah. But I know this is Islamic culture. You understand? This is Islamic culture. They don't pay no attention to that, man. So we're gonna get to a few of these questions about Qiyas. And I'm the brother, he did part 2. I don't want the brother to feel no pressure and feel like he need to do them in a hurry. Take your time, man. Don't feel no pressure, man. Don't overwhelm yourself with this. You know what I'm saying? Take your time, man. You don't have to have them done in a day or 2 days. Take your time, brother. Take your time. So we're going to talk about the sunnah real quick. And this is some of the benefits in this lesson. So in part 2, where it says the word sunnah in Arabic, the Arabic language means the best way. And I done had some people who answered this question, and they answered by saying the best way. I'm not making fun of them, but I have had more than one person answer the best way. So that's A. B, these multiple choice. So B, the worst way. So C, the only way. And then D, a way or method that can have 2 states, either good or bad. It is derived from the word sanan, which is Arabic for a road or path. Now, E says trimming a mustache. So some of their logic was, well, the sunnah is the best way. How can that answer be wrong? Because it says the word sunnah in the Arabic language means not what you think the sunnah is. So in the Arabic language, and see, this shows how you absorb in the information. If you go through and just read the material, it says right there a way or a method that can have two states. So like I said, tests expose how serious you are if you're trying to cheat your way through it, because it gives you the answer right there in there. But I done had people answer the best way. Read it again. The word sunnah in the Arabic language means. Okay? So of course the answer is D, a way or method that can have two states, either good or bad. So is there such thing as a bad sunnah? Obviously. Is there such thing as a good sunnah? Because keep in mind, when it comes to Arabic, there's linguistic terminology and then there's legislated what it means in the Sharia. So yeah, the best way, the only way, yeah, the sunnah is the only way. It is the best way, but that's just not what it means in the Arabic language. Trimming a mustache, yes, that is a sunnah, but that's not what it means. So in the technical sense, the word sunnah has how many meanings? They got A, 20, B, 30, C, 100, or D, 4 or 5. The answer is D. And this is why I try to get people to understand with the word sunnah, sometimes people arguing and bickering over things that they see other people doing, and I want people to understand you need to know what their understanding of the sunnah is, because all of the scholars don't agree on technically what the sunnah is. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes it just boils down to what's their understanding of the sunnah. They might not have one. They might not know that the sunnah has 4 or 5 meanings. Right? So 3, according to the scholars of hadith. So now it's breaking down the scholars. According to the scholars of hadith, the word sunnah means A, any saying, action, approval, which means the Rasul seen some people doing something and he approved of it, right? Or attribute, some type of characteristic or something that was attributed to Rasulullah, whether this attribute was physical or moral, right? So certain things that's involved in this, whether it's something attributed that's, whether it's physical or moral, these things can apply to what, y'all? Clothing. These things tie into your morality. You're covering your aura. And if you're not going to do it when you're walking around, at least have some decency to do it when you're standing in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. Because these things can invalidate your salat. These things can take away from your salat. Let's say you graded on your salat. You want to at least, let's say 95 to 100 is an A. You at least want 100. Sometimes we going to get a B in our salat. But you don't want no D or no F. So these things, there's certain things that could take away from the reward of your salat, or it can completely invalidate it out. So like I said, whether it's physical or moral, ascribed to the prophet, whether before or after the beginning of his prophethood. Now this is what this is one of the answers that could be sunnah to the scholars of hadith. That's A. So B, any saying, belief, action invented after the Prophet Muhammad's death. So we know that ain't right, because that's bid'ah. C, anything done by the Prophet Muhammad that is not in the Quran, which I'm going to give some people a little clue. There's a particular group of scholars, we know this is scholars of hadith, So there is a group of scholars that say the sunnah is anything that the Prophet did that's not in the Quran. Something, an example, something like the beard, having some hair on your face. So some of them also feel like the sunnah is anything that you don't have to do. But let me stick to this because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But if they feel like the sunnah is something that you don't have to do because it's not in the Quran, that's why you see some people shaving their beard off. It's just a sunnah. We don't have to do it. So you have to know people understanding of the sunnah. So they all tie, well, technically all this is a sunnah. But some of it is a misunderstanding of the sunnah. That's why you got your 5 categories of the sunnah. What's recommended, mustahab, what's mubah, which is neutral. For instance, like wearing one of these is neutral, but it's a sunnah to cover your head. This is a sunnah. This is something that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. There's mubah, and then of course you got your haram and you got your makruh. What's disliked, right? So you got to know your categories. So, or anything that the polytheists did during the Prophet Muhammad's time. The answer is A. Any saying, action, approval, or attribute, whether physical or moral, ascribed to the Prophet, whether before or after the beginning of his prophethood. To the scholars of Hadith, that's what the Sunnah means. And then it's broke down in categories to what's wajib, which means, yeah, that's from the Sunnah, but you don't have no choice but to do it. Like having some hair on your face and trimming your mustache, right? So the scholars of fiqh or Islamic jurisprudence use the word sunnah to mean something that is not recommended to do, something that is disliked to follow. C, whether it's firmly established as in demanded from one in the religion on the basis of legal proof but without being obligatory. So this is the scholars of fiqh. Whether it is whatever is firmly established in the religion and it is obligatory. So the answer to this is C, but pay attention to it closely because it's basically summing up what I was saying. Whatever is firmly established as in demanded from one in a religion on the basis of legal proof but without being obligatory. So basically they saying it's not in the Quran, but there's proof that you should do it. There's legal proof. But when they're saying without it being obligatory, they saying anything that you can find in the deen, but you don't have to do it. When they saying it's not obligatory, so they'll put desired or recommended, which is basically mustahab. So that's why if they look at it and say, yeah, it's some proof for the beard, you can find real clear authentic proof that one should have hair on their face, but it's not obligatory. It's only desirable that you do that. It's only recommended that you do that. No harm, no foul. So I'm going to shave mine. So when you understand those categories, then you know what's mustahab. There's a reward for it if you do it, but there's no punishment if you leave it off. So they feel like there's no punishment. That's just one example. So sometimes you may be on a sunnah and you know it's wajib, but, and this is the scholars of fiqh, so they might be a madhabi. So their positions of rulings always come from a fiqh perspective, but they may not have been properly educated. It could have just been, I rock with these people who Hanafi, so I feel like I'm Hanafi, and now they got you up on something that it's mandatory that you do, but they leave it off. Like some of them, they feel like having your pants above your ankles. Because you can't find it in the Quran, allegedly, you know what I'm saying? Then that means it's just a sunnah and you have a choice whether you want to do it or not. It's just recommended to do it. It's desirable to do it. But there's a punishment that comes with leaving it off. You see what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate because you have the same black people who want to push up on people. Having your pants above your ankles is Arab culture. We black Muslim, man. We don't wear our pants above our ankles. That's corny. Not aware. Y'all might be taking people off the path or something that they're going to end up getting punished by Allah for. So, according to the scholars of Aqidah, the word Sunnah means Allah is pleased with all of the Prophet companions. That's A. Or B, those who arrange the four rightly guided caliphs in order: Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali. May Allah have mercy on them all and be pleased with them all. C. Those who respect and honor and love all the Prophet's family and companions. Or D. Those who disrespect the Prophet Muhammad companions and slander Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman. So, there E is A, B, and C. Is it all three of them? Or F, all of the above? So we know those who disrespect the Prophet Muhammad companions and slander Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman, we know that answer is wrong. And that tie into when I was talking about some of the things that go on in the Prophet Muhammad masjid. I accidentally said Uthman, but I meant Umar because I listened to the video and I caught myself saying that. But that happens sometimes. People know what I mean. But you have people who go up there where them brothers is buried at and they slander them. Abu Bakr and Umar. They slander Aisha. So the beauty of it is when it says according to the scholars of Aqidah. So when you look at this, you could be like, wait a minute, but how is this a sunnah? Because the sunnah is also in beliefs. Anything that's dealing with Aqidah is technically how you supposed to believe something. What you supposed to believe. You understand? How something is supposed to be believed. So you supposed to believe this because you got the Shiites who curse the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They curse his companions. Okay? Then you have some who have a different order of who they think the first four caliphs should be. Some people feel like Ali was the first one. So this take you out of the sunnah of beliefs. So the scholars of Aqidah, it throw this in because this is a sunnah that deals with the belief system. Right? So, it go into some stuff about bid'ah. We gonna skip that because people know that, right? And what I'm gonna do is go to, because I'm finna shorten this up, right? This is a beautiful one right here. Number 4. The only way to have true Islamic unity is if all Muslims unify up on the testimony of faith, Shahada, follow the Prophet Muhammad based upon an understanding of his companions, and stay away from all types of bid'ah. This is the only way the Muslims is going to unite. Because we might take our Shahadas, but some people that take somebody else saying over the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or they'd take something that the Rasul said and put their own understanding on it when it's obvious the people that he taught, which was his companions, didn't understand it that way. So you're taking it out of context. These things lead to bid'ah, deviation. So the answer, that's true. So number 5, the only way to have true Islamic unity is if all people with their different beliefs, practices, and innovations groups together and dance and chant. So you got some Muslims, they want to be up on this, they want to slander, they want to ridicule the deen and don't even know it. What make you think you're going to unify with them? They want to pray in whatever they want, go against legislations. What type of unity is y'all going to really have? Because Allah Azza wa Jal is not going to unify the Muslims on bid'ah and deviance. You automatically, the fitra inside of you should automatically have a problem with those things. If you don't have a problem with them, it's probably because you indulge in them, or you have that mentality when it comes to Islam like this. Like people who smoke cigarettes. I smoke cigarettes. Who am I to say something to them about what they doing? And see, a lot of people, they had that mentality. I can't say nothing about them. Shoot, my wife worse than them. I can't say none of them. My wife worse than them. I can't say none of them. My husband worse than them. So they have some little mentality. They have some little congruence. There's a little bit of me that's just like them, so I can't say nothing. Saying something to them is like saying something to me. And that's why you're not going to unite on real Islam or deen. You might sit in the masjid and have some friends. Man, alhamdulillah. So I want to share one of the brothers' answers. And I'm only going to share one so that we could talk about Qiyas. And then I'm done. And I'm going to make this quick, inshallah ta'ala. And I'm going to make it real brief. Let me pull up his answers real quick. Alhamdulillah. Okay, look. And I'm going to expound on his answer. So the question is, why should a Muslim only take their Islam from Quran, Sunnah, consensus, which means ijma of the Salaf Salih, and Qiyas, and not take it from other places or sources? So a Muslim should only take their Islam from these four sources because the Quran is the direct speech of Allah, which is flawless, alhamdulillah, i.e. no contradictions, mistakes, or errors. Allahu Akbar. The Sunnah is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's statements, actions, and what he approved. Consensus is what the companions all agreed upon, or majority is what the companions all agreed upon, and Qiyas is used Qiyas is used for solving new problems that may not have occurred during the time of the companions, but their understanding should still be used when dealing with new issues. Beautiful. Beautiful. And Muslims should not take their Islam from other places or sources because we are supposed to make the Quran and Sunnah first and foremost, and they precede our desires, intellects, personal views, and opinions. And anything outside of the Quran and the Sunnah with the understanding of the Sahaba is falsehood and will only lead to a corrupt beliefs and actions. Beautiful statement. Because what I want to do, I'm using his statement and I want to expound on it with Qiyas. Deeds, my guy, verse 48. Who was the first to ever do Qiyas? According to narrations. Who was the first ever to do Qiyas? Mumtaz. Shaitan. Shaitan was the first to do Qiyas. Let me write that right here. Qiyas. So when Shaitan did Qiyas, when Allah Azza wa Jal told Shaitan to bow down, to prostrate to Adam, Shaitan said, I'm not going to bow down to him. You created me from fire. You created him from mud, from clay. I'm better than him. What he did at that moment was Qiyas. Where's the Dalil? Who said you was better than him because you was created from fire? So this shows the danger of Qiyas, but what the brother mentioned in his answer. Even when you do Qiyas, you still got to touch Quran, Sunnah, and Ijma. It still got to have that understanding the way that the Salaf did it. Okay? So, I'm going to give y'all an example of something newly that where you could use Qiyas, and then I'm going to show where you couldn't, and then we're going to be done. In Antarctica, or parts of Alaska, it's dark 6 months out of the year. Right? Then it's light 6 months out of the year. So when Ramadan comes, and it lasts during the 6 months when it's dark, how do you fast when there's no daylight hours? So you have to look at that, and then you have to analyze Quran, Sunnah, Ijma, and you have to come up with a ruling based off of that. What's the ruling? Well, we know that your fasting is going to be from sunrise to sunset. Fajr to Maghrib. When you know how to look at the sky. You know what I'm saying? So, we can look at the time and be like, look, this amount of time when Fajr comes in, this amount of time, at least maybe like with some rulings, depending on the madhabs, about 15 minutes before that Adhan comes in, or when, if you look at the hadiths, when the Adhan comes in to the prayer, not the first Adhan, because it will be 2 Adhans during Ramadan, but when that Adhan hits, hurry up and finish your food and start fasting, and then when that Adhan hits for Maghrib, then you can break your fast. That's using Qiyas, but you still looking at Quran, Sunnah, and Ijma to do the Qiyas with. Not just sitting down saying, well, I think we probably exempt because it ain't no daylight, so how can we fast? We exempt from fasting Ramadan this year because that's also a form of Qiyas. Just like with these individuals who sit around and say, because you put this on, you're trying to imitate an Arab, and that don't make you Muslim. But not understanding, it got you within legislations of what you should wear. So it's definitely part of Islamic culture because it helps you practice your deen in a manner that's pleasing to Allah Azza wa Jal. Because why? It's in accordance with legislations. But see, they doing Qiyas that's not based upon Quran, Sunnah, and Ijma. You understand? Go to Quran, Sunnah, and Ijma first, then come with what you're talking about. When you understand the conditions of your salat and what invalidates your salat, then y'all should be quiet. You're doing Qiyas the wrong way. The same individuals who say there's no way that Allah can have a throne because that would mean Allah has a butt. And if Allah had a butt, that would mean that he defecates. And we know Allah don't defecate, therefore Allah can't have no throne. They doing Qiyas. But they not doing Qiyas the right way with Quran, Sunnah, Ijma. They not doing Qiyas based off of those things. They doing it from their own intellect, what they think, and their lack of reasoning, just like Shaitan did. And this Qiyas led Shaitan to being, Shaitan was one of the best worshippers from amongst the jinn at that time. He actually in a place with the angels and where Allah Azza wa Jal is creating Adam. But what condemned him? The dude, the rejected, filthy, stinking one, did Qiyas. I ain't bound down to him. I'm better than him. You created me from fire. You created him from mud. I'm better than him. He's hollow. You know what I'm saying? He did Qiyas and it condemned them. Just like some of these individuals who doing Qiyas on what they don't understand that comes from Islamic culture and Islamic legislation and downplaying talking about us Arab stuff, but they put themselves in a position where they worthy of punishment from Allah Azza wa Jal. They astray and they guiding other people astray and they hindering people from the path. No, this don't make you Muslim, but it do make you on your deen when it comes to legislation. That's why I'm saying to people, make sure you understand the legislation and not just putting it on like, hey, I feel like this make me a Muslim. I look Muslim. I identify with Islam, because you can have something on that make you look Muslim, but it still violates the legislations. You might have some see-through pants on. You might have an African-looking garb where it only comes to your waist, and when you talk beard, raise up, and under your belly button is showing. Things that I've seen. So be careful, man, because these individuals is doing Qiyas. Qiyas is what got Shaitan condemned to the hellfire, and what Shaitan got to the point where he's going to trick everybody that's on the right path. You're on the right path with this. They trying to trick you off of it. What do it matter to you? Because they feel like you're violating some form of black Islam that they think they hold claim to. Islam is for everybody, all races. You know what I'm saying? There's Islamic culture. So, man, let me get up out of here, man. And for the brother, like I said, man, who doing the studies, take your time. Don't put no pressure on yourself. Don't feel like you have to have one, do one every couple of days or this and that. But if you want to, do your thing. But don't put no pressure on yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're doing an excellent job. Just like I told him, you in the top 3 of people who I've seen do this. You, and I say the top 3 because some of your answers is better than theirs and some of their answers was better than yours. But you're in the top 3 because you're the third person that when they get done with each lesson, that I say, you could teach this. You can take this and go discuss this with some people. This right here, you can give it to some people. You know what I'm saying? You can put this in front of them and you can grade their answers based off the understanding that you have, at least for 1 and 2, from what I've seen. And by me knowing the whole course, I could tell you could get through the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? You could get through the whole thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Bismillah ta'ala, because you grasp it, you get it, you understand it. At least from these first 2 lessons. Hey, man, get your little group, do your thing with them, man. You could do it. With these first 2, flawless victories, brother. Excellent job. And you like I said, you only the third person. Like I said, I done seen people who go through, they have some answers, but you could tell they not really grasping it. They not grasping it, not like how you doing. Or they just have some jib jabber, They done did some Qiyas the wrong way. So, we got some stuff to do, man. Some things to get into. So, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And let me put this in. I'm not trying to offend nobody. If you don't want to dress like this, don't do it. But don't bother the people who do. Especially if you don't understand the Sharia. If only thing in your head is this means you trying to act Arab, then you got a lot to learn. You got a lot to learn. You ain't gonna sit around and see somebody eating tacos and tell them they trying to be Mexican. You know what I'm saying? You see somebody who learning how to speak Spanish, or they learning how to speak something else. Oh man, you just trying to act like a Mexican with that Spanish. But if you see one of the Muslim brothers trying to learn Arabic, or you just trying to be like an Arab, that's that Middle Eastern stuff. get out of here with that, man. But like I said, I ain't trying to offend nobody. Y'all brothers, don't get caught up in it, man. Don't get caught up in it, man. Don't let nobody hinder your growth. If they not going to say nothing about individuals who praying and they privates and stuff is showing, male and female, go say something about the wrong that's being done. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll serve the community better. Go out there and get on them people. Go get on them individuals that smoking weed and drinking and selling dope and got boyfriends and girlfriends. Go say something to them. Nah, that ain't none of our business. That between them and Allah. See, they always want to say something about individuals that's doing something right. But when it comes to the harm in the community and things that people ain't got no business doing, go say something to people that's coming up to the masjid smelling like weed all the time. Go say something to them. Stand up for justice. But when it comes to those situations, you would think somebody took a zipper and did their lips like this. And like I said, I don't know the brother in the comments, so I'm not saying him, but all of the individuals I've seen, because like I said, individuals done came to me like that. I done dealt with it, and anytime they see somebody with me and this and that, but I know they inner secrets because I came around them doing it, and I listened to them talk about they feel weird. They feel like everybody's staring at them. What if some white racist people try to fight them? And these grown men won't even go nowhere with their wife. Man, I don't even go in the grocery store with my wife because their wife got hijabs and stuff on. I don't want to go in the store with her, man. People be looking at us all crazy, man. What if somebody try to fight us? Guess what you is, B? In Islam, we ain't talking about in no kafir stuff. In Islam, you a coward, kid. You know what I'm saying? In reality, they really be cowards. I'm saying the ones that I've done talked to. Some of them just brainwashed because, like I said, they think we hold some type of claim to some black Islam and it's more prominent and it's more desirable than this Arab version of Islam. Guess why? Because you can still act the NIWGA and be Muslim. You can still act the NIWGA and be Muslim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.